Hey everybody, it's Pete. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Friday morning, August 14th, 2020. Got the two different sides of the spectrum today. I have a super interesting setup for you today that is an advanced tape reading lesson. It was very similar to a setup that we saw in Draftkings about 6 or 8 weeks ago, and the stock just collapsed over the following 2 weeks. And we have a similar setup today in a stock that's at or near highs. That looks kind of unassuming, but something's going on under the hood that I'm going to explain to you today, very similar to what we saw on DraftKings. Speaking of DraftKings, DraftKings has earnings prior to the open today. It should be pretty interesting. What we're going to take a look at today is going to be put in the context of there's not a lot of great setups here today. I just want to be clear. There's a lot of melted candles coming into today. There's a lot of stocks that we've liked recently, let's say within the last 3 to 4 months, that are struggling to find buyers. We're seeing well bid, but we're seeing well bid melted candles. Again, not perfect conditions right now. And we kind of saw that manifesting itself yesterday where we kept talking about in the boot camp, work your order, keep your risk lower, send out a probe, that kind of thing. Get feedback before you start pushing the size. And that was a really big deal yesterday because the market was anything but clear. And if you're trading correctly and the market's not obvious, you're not putting yourself in harm's way if you start to see the market chopping around. There were a couple of really nice winning trades yesterday, but that's where game planning came in a big way because you're in the right stocks. And if those right stocks follow through, great. If those right stocks don't do anything or they kind of keep giving you false starts, you're not getting hurt because you're working the orders properly with the right share size. So the SPY, obviously, I think everybody and their grandmother yesterday was expecting it to hit new all-time highs, and we didn't. And today we're opening a little bit lower. Lower openings in the market have been a buying opportunity. It would be mildly surprising if we don't find buyers on today's lower opening. I personally think it's way overdue. I don't think there's any golden rule that says we have to hit all-time highs. We'll see what happens, but today's lower opening should offer a buying opportunity. But again, this is a big part of what we discuss in the community and kind of a little nuance that a lot of traders need to really grip, which is wanting to be a buyer and having a buying signal. Not the same thing. So even it's kind of like what, one of my big pet peeves about moving averages, where it's a very common trade where if a stock's above a moving average and pulls back to the 20-period moving average, buy it when it hits the 20-period moving average. No, that's an area you would expect buyers to come back in. Then you still need to go to price action and say, okay, now it's safe to dip my toes in because it stopped going down. So the same thing happens with entry signals. It has to fire off before you look to get in. It can't just be forming. It actually has to give us the signal. So we're going to head over to the charts. The first one I'm going to show you, I think, is pretty interesting because we're going to kind of make a forecast here based on what's happening under the hood. So I'm going to head over to the charts, and it looks like a very quiet stock where we would have our normal breakout into an inside candlestick, So this would be a very aggressive play normally under normal circumstances because we've rallied, we've kind of consolidated for a couple of days in a row and be looking for this to break out. But then when you dig a little deeper, we have more than double, almost triple normal volume over the last 3 days with the stock churning. That's the definition of distribution. Now, distribution can technically happen over time, but going back all the way back to the most popular classics in trading, that when a stock has higher volume and doesn't move after a rally, that's generally a reversal. So this stock is going to be super interesting to see if we trade lower over the next week to 2 weeks while the stock is up in this area because it's heavy, heavy, heavy price action without the price moving. And that is usually money moving from smart money to unsuspecting money. So you got to be the smart money today. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds today. Next, Apple, obviously on everybody's mind right now. Stock split this month. I don't see a lot of obvious price action to initiate a new trade in Apple. I do like the fact that it pushed up, paused for 5 days, and then traded higher. Obviously, the only thing you want to do here is be long, but I'm not really aggressively trading the position because yesterday was another melted candle, which means indecision. Again, the buyers and sellers duped it out, and they almost ended up in the same spot again. So obviously, the long is the right trade, but the right trade management is working that order. A couple other ones, BBY, which is not a great day trading stock, but you can't ignore the fact of the great relative strength into the close yesterday, coming out of an inside candlestick and a bullish gap. So I like this stock long again today and initiating a new swing trade. MNST was actually called out in the boot camp yesterday, and I really like the fact that the gap pushed up, held for a few days, and now has started to rally and actually looking at a new breakout here. So I like this one as well. OSTK is profitable. It's an easier stock to identify. It's just not the easiest stock in the world to trade. However, we just pulled back, went into inside candle, went to well bid. The stock is still long. Profit target here is right around 108 if you happen to be long that one. ENPH we've been calling out for a few days. Now looking to stay above, get above 75. So right now it's going to open below 75 today. So I've been looking to initiate my first trade below 75, looking to add only if it gets over 75. W is an interesting one too. We talked about this in today's meeting. Looks like it's having a hard time staying above 310. If you're already long, 310 would be my stop loss. If you're looking to be long, I'd be looking only to initiate a new trade if it's above yesterday's close, and then I'd have 310 as my stop loss, looking for the next push higher. VSLR and Run, both setting up almost identical charts and the same trade basically. We're looking for breakouts here. Well bid yesterday coming out of an inside candlestick after big selling. Both of them are going to open up flat. I'd probably like them both better if they could take out the levels that they just hit. Z is an interesting one. Super strong, breaking out to highs. Again, melted candle, stopping the move higher, melted candle, pulled back, melted candle, and close on the lows. So in Z, to be very clear, we're looking for a lower opening in Z to be a buyer looking to initiate a new swing trade. And on the other side of the market, which is pretty interesting, WDC actually has room to go. Gap down, holding the gap, broke through support. This is actually, I've said it before, short sales aren't working that great in today's environment. This looks like a short sale that could follow through. So we're going to keep an eye on that one today too. So I just want to be clear, which I think is very important, whether you're day trading or swing trading right now, I don't see a lot of great setups today. So again, if you're in the boot camp with me, which I really hope you can or are, this might not be a day to push it. We'll see. But the market is not setting up great. We'll adapt as the market unfolds. But I'm not seeing A+ stuff out there today. So I'm going to be trading very lightly until the picture clears up a little bit. Have a great weekend. I'll speak to you soon.